As you write your life story, you're far from finished. Are you looking to close the book on your job? Maybe turn a page in your career? Be continued at the Georgetown University School of Continuing Studies. Our professional master's degrees and certificates are designed to meet you where you are and take you where you want to go. At Georgetown SCS, the learning never stops, and neither do you. Write your next chapter. Be continued at scs.georgetown.edu/podcast.
Looking for the ultimate night out? Experience the action from a luxury suite at Capital One Arena. Watch Ovechkin chase history as the Capitals hit the ice, or catch the Wizards take on the NBA's best. Rock out with Disturbed, vibe with Mary J. Blige, or dance the night away with Kylie Minogue. Premium seating, VIP service, and unforgettable moments all under one roof. Book your suite now at CapitalOneArena.com/premier. Capital One Arena. Watch in style, live in the moment.
This is Fixing Famous People, the podcast where two reality television producers pitch solutions to save celebrities in dire straits.
But first, let's get to the Pre-Fixe, your weekly pop culture roundup.
Whew! Listeners, obviously you are here for the third annual Fixing Famous People Oscars Spectacular feature. Did I say spectacular? But I'm going to keep it spectacular. Sure. Featuring awards correspondent and goddess Rebecca Bregman. And we will, after the Pre-Fixe, be bringing you a detailed PowerPoint pop culture presentation of everything we loved and hated. What a year. So you think,
a year.
What's a bigger story? What will the Pre-Fixe
What else
be?
could they give us? We've gone through so much.
It's Oscars week. What would happen? Because we forgot that today, meaning yesterday for you listening now, was the long-awaited release of the Duchess of Smuckers, Meghan Markle, on Netflix. With love, Meghan. 8 episodes dropped on us like a potpourri-scented bomb right on our foreheads. Later in the Pre-Fixe and on the a la carte today, we will be giving you our full review of this broadcast. You know, well, maybe you don't know, March 1st was the second anniversary of this podcast. March 1st, 2023 was our first episode. And on that day, we fixed a young lady known as Meghan Markle. To celebrate our second anniversary, she has released her television show.
For her long-awaited television show that was pushed
as a belated gift.
Pushed back for us, basically.
I am so afraid we're pushing this at the end of the Pre-Fixe because we're afraid that we're going to be talking over each other so much. Like I tell you, we're adrenalized by this.
We have called each other multiple times off mic to talk about it. And then we're like, what are we doing? We need to do this on the podcast. We're not going to be able to shut up. And you're all going to be like these two insufferable pieces of trash. I'm not talking about Meghan.
I mean, and we talk a lot, but it's rare that in like a 30-minute program that I would call you twice
multiple
rather
times.
than text. That is unusual. Yes. We have a lot to say. So you think, wow, Schmuckers on TV, the Academy Awards, what could compete with that news-wise? Well, Luigi Mangione apparently has a sex tape. Or 20.
Give us the links. Give us the links. Give us the links.
And just as real? A disclaimer,
Dominic, is this real? Is this real?
Is anything in the Daily Mail real? I have no idea. I will say that this report in the Daily Mail says that according to sources, that before he suffered injuries that rendered him unable to have sex, as we've read about in the newspapers and magazines, which may have driven him insane enough to murder someone. And let's not remember that he might have murdered someone, but the focus of this story is his physical beauty. So there's a source who says that before he was unable to get an erection.
Unable to have. Oh, is that what it is?
I mean, maybe. I don't know. I mean, what does that mean? You're unable to have sex?
He can just be on the bottom. You know what I mean? He can just lay there.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like it has something to do with his wang if he's unable to do it.
Didn't he have like a lower back problem?
Something like that.
Injury that was a really bad lower back injury, but like Who knows?
So why can't you have sex? Why can't someone just
regardless.
lower themselves on top of you?
That's what I'm saying.
He's talking to the wrong people. He's reading the wrong books.
Yeah, really.
He's listening to the wrong podcast. So apparently there are 20. There's a source who says he used to shoot himself having sex and loved for people to watch it. And that there are 20 of these videos available, that the women know that they're in possession of these and who he is, but they're almost too afraid of the notoriety.
So they're not public, like they just exist in the world.
Correct. Yeah, they're not on like X videos or Pornhub or anything like that.
Yeah, or like OnlyFans or like whatever. I mean, if someone could come forward with one, they would make so much money. Much money.
I mean, with one video, he could pay for his defense,
Everything.
even if
And
this
then
trial goes
some.
on for 30 years.
And then some. He could be like a bajillionaire in prison.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah. Not a fan of his crime, though. Just want to keep
No, of course
repeating
not.
that.
No, of course not. But give us the links.
Not a fan of his crime. But one way to make up for it, show me your dick, Luigi.
Yeah. Or he needs to just get up to stuff in jail. I mean, he's going to prison for the rest of his life, I'm assuming, correct?
I don't know. I don't know. There's a chance that all the evidence. No, there's a chance that all that evidence from McDonald's could be thrown out. That's what the defense is trying to do. Yeah. Because it was like, it changed hands too many times. And if you've ever watched SVU or Major Crimes, you know that is the no-knowiest of no-nos.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Who knows? But regardless, could we get cameras in jail? Like,
I mean, yeah, I would shove
really
one in my eyeball to go videotape him doing that. I'll wear a patch for the rest of my life. I don't give a shite. A bunch of sad news, a trio of deaths this week. 4 if you count the wife of the first person I'm about to say. This mystery surrounding Gene Hackman's death and his wife and one of their 3 pets is truly like...
Yeah, it is. It is that.
It's crazy.
It definitely is that. I don't understand. They were like, no foul play. And I'm like, they both were dead and the dog and the woman is mummified, ? How is that? How are you saying no? There's no foul play suspected at all?
Now, I'm thinking mummified was just a sensational term they used to say like they've been dead for so long that there's some sort of plateau of decomposition where they are just considered mummified.
Sure.
Because apparently as of before, I tried to find out what the latest was before we started rolling here. And apparently the only thing that's conclusive right now is that they were dead for about 10 days before they were found.
Oh my God. That's terrible.
But remember, like when it came across the wire, it was like, oh, it's a gas leak. And we all thought, of course it was a gas leak. How else could the 3 of them? And then you just think to yourself, did she do it? Did he do it? Did the dog do it?
Did the dog do it? Do we know? We don't know. I mean, obviously it's developed. I mean, there was like 97 New York Times like breaking news, like alerts coming out every 5 minutes about it.
The Hollywood Reporter is like moments away from just sending an alert that says nothing new yet about Gene Hackman. And that being the alert, just saying we have nothing to say.
Yeah.
I am very curious. I mean, Gene Hackman, a wonderful actor, a legend, a 2-time Academy Award winner, all that stuff. 95, a lovely long life. This is a terrible way to go under a shroud of mystery because we don't know actually how he went, but he retired a long time ago. He was just living his life in Santa Fe with his wife.
I know.
And now they're gone. We got to find out how. Yeah. I mean, anyone who's ever casually watched an ID Discovery show thinks they have this shit solved.
Of course.
I can't even look at TikTok.
Are you kidding me? Yeah. My God.
First of all, the fact that there is now a category just called Gene Hackman TikTok, I think is the greatest thing that's happened in our calendar year. But RIP.
Oh God, we can't. Nothing can just happen anymore. It has to be like there has to be like 97 conspiracy theories about that are like have truly zero facts back.
I mean, that's what celebrity is now. I think before the Hackmans passed away, they called the publicist and said, "How do we do this? How do we stay in the news for another 8 months after our death to give the kids royalties?" That's how everyone does it. All kidding aside, there was an even to me more tragic, given her age, death this week. Michelle Trachtenberg died.
The millennials are hurting from this. That was like our girl. Like Harriet the Spy.
That's a big one. That's
Harriet
a big one
the
for
Spy
people
was big for us. Like big for us. And then she was in Gossip Girl, right?
That's right.
That was a blow.
Yeah. It's the first time I can remember. I mean, I know that the guy from One Direction passed away, but this was the first sort of like of your generation seeing all the tributes come in from that level of people, like your Sarah Michelle Gellar's and your Ed Westwick's. It's like this was a big one.
And she was like someone like Harriet the Spy, like she carried the whole thing. Do you know what I mean? It's like she was the star. It's like Amanda Bynes level of like this little girl that like had the whole like Mary-Kate and Ashley when they were doing the movies of them as the kids. It's like they were like the first, like the main character is like an 11-year-old girl that's like an incredible actor.
And for those of you who don't know, Michelle Trachtenberg, her trilogy of terrificness, I guess, would be Harriet the Spy, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and Gossip Girl. Like those are the three. That's why Chris's
maybe you've heard of them. Yeah,
but I bet a lot of people have not. I mean, I know who she is because people who I have dated who have all been
goodbye. We have to move on.
No, they've always loved Buffy. Like I know her because of Buffy. I honestly didn't know about Harriet the Spy until I read it. I read about it.
Oh no, that was like big for us.
And number 3, bad things come in threes. Dolly Parton's husband of over 60 years, Carl Dean, passed away just a few days ago. He was 82 years old. What an unusual and fantastic and lovely relationship these two have. She couldn't be a more public person.
Yeah.
And he couldn't be a more private,
he was like, good
private citizen.
He's like, I want nothing to do with this.
No,
like,
he lived his own life. She spoke about him not infrequently in interviews.
No.
I mean, they just had it was an arrangement. Like their marriage was an arrangement where she's like, I'm going to go out and do all this shit and you're going to do you.
You're going to stay at home.
Yep.
Yeah.
They never had kids, which is so funny. Dolly Parton. I'm selfishly glad that Dolly. What?
Speaking of arrangement.
What?
Is she going to come out of the closet now?
Christopher, you scandalo.
No, but this is like, I'm not the only person that thinks this. So like,
I don't know. I've sort of softened on is Dolly Parton gay in the way that I have about Oprah. Like I almost feel.
But like, and also like, what does it matter? Like at this point.
Oh, it doesn't. I mean, it matters only so we can gossip about it. And that's what we do in this house, but with love.
No,
I mean,
but
can you imagine though?
It doesn't like, we just know, you know what I mean?
I mean, I want interviews with the women that have had sex with Dolly Parton is what I want.
I know. I wonder. Anyway,
this is a lovely way to honor her husband.
I know, it's horrible. It's literally the worst thing. We are horrible people.
But we love you, Dolly. We do, and we're
sad.
very sorry. We're very sorry that you lost your husband. Other deaths this week? I don't know. The continued decomposition of Drake's career continues. He's canceled tour dates due to a scheduling conflict.
A scheduling conflict. Give me 1 million breaks.
Aubrey O'Gay.
Say that you like broke your leg.
Who's here, bitch? What are you trying to do? Your schedule. You didn't know?
Broke your leg. Say you broke your leg. Do you know what I mean? Like
these giant $100,000 places that we have booked. Sorry, I forgot I have Uno night that night. What's your scheduling conflict? How dare you?
He's trying to get us to think that he's like going to be in like Euphoria season 3. Do you know what I mean? Like he's like,
oh
my big role. Like, you know.
Although you know what? Not a bad fix for that queen.
Honestly, not bad. Honestly, not bad.
So Drake, by the way, since we're speaking of Aubrey, he has settled his legal dispute with iHeartMedia over, he thinks that everyone was promoting Not Like Us while they were also trying to promote his material and basically just selling him out. So he had alleged that Universal Music Group illegally paid iHeartRadio for airtime for the anti-Drake material. So he settled with iHeartMedia, but
there's no way that's real.
Well, he settled with iHeart. Now he is still, though, going after UMG, Universal Music. And the last thing I read about that before we came on air was that the discovery he's asking for includes text messages, like executives' phones, where he believes he's going to bust them trying to ruin his career.
He's watching like Blake and Justin Baloney and is like diddling himself to it. He's like, this could be me. Am I wrong?
No, I mean, I think everyone in the world's going to be taking cues from those two forever. I hate to even say it. Speaking of canceled shows, guess who ruined his own tour, even though last summer he thought it was ruined because he got a DUI. He canceled the last show of his tour, Justin Timberlake.
And Dominic,
yes,
right on the heels of us raking him over the coals on this year podcast.
Do you think that he was upset at how we spoke about him when we fixed his wife, that he was just so retiring?
Upset that he had to go to the bar?
And you think he Ubered home?
No, you're aware that like many listeners, boots on the ground, were like sending me like I have friends that were at this bar. He was there wasted and then canceled like hours. Like did the sound check for his concert. And there were people that saw him doing the sound check. And then he canceled like an hour later.
Was he drunk during the sound check?
I don't think so. But like, what happened after? So did he listen to a podcast called Fixing Me? I can't even say it.
Do you think he listened to it?
He was
after sound check and then got wasted? God, if that were true, honestly, I'd give you my life savings, which is not much, but I'll give it up.
So
if
dumb.
we ever have that influence over someone that big, can you
imagine
that would be
that
amazing.
They would give one single solitary shit what we had to say? Anyway, but no, like that's like trouble's afoot. It's not like, oh, like I got sick. You know what I mean? Or this happened. Like he did the sound check like 2 hours before the concert and then canceled that day and like didn't even put out a press release. It was just people showed up to the arena and it said concert canceled.
And that was it. He just did an Instagram post
and then disappeared into the wilderness
saying everyone's going to get
their money back.
Yeah. I don't know. He was the one person at all the SNL 50 celebrations. That was the one sort of glaring thing that people were like, why isn't Justin Timberlake here? Because remember, like Andy Samberg sang Dick in a Box with Gaga because JT was on tour. Maybe he was just jealous.
I don't know.
Hey, jealous. Oh, that's the Jonas Brothers. Never mind.
It is.
Same
sort
sort
of
of
thing,
sound.
though.
In weird news, Kourtney Kardashian has confirmed that she is not a grandmother. I don't even know how to say this story. There was a rumor last week that Mason Disick, her oldest son, had fathered a child. Mason Disick is a child, like 11 or 12 child, not even a teenager. Hey, Siri, how old is Mason Disick?
Mason Disick is 15 years old.
Correction, he is 15 years old. And she actually gave me the middle name. By the way, this new operating system on Apple, I got to say,
speaking
Siri,
of people that have listened,
you are a sexy bitch. I may have to publicly renounce my previous statements about you. Her response was only in writing. It said, is there something I can help you with? No.
Yeah.
You're
She's
still
like,
the same
stop. She's like, stop sexually harassing
Fuck
me.
you anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, 15. I swear I thought he was 12. But
well, sadly, this wouldn't be a surprise to me because this is like a family of breeders. And I don't mean that they're straight. I mean that they love to breed children. Do you know what I mean? They love to like have
they want to
90
multiply.
million kids.
They're not a family as much as they are a colony at this
whether
point.
They're in a relationship with someone or not, or like, which that's not a slam. I'm just simply meaning like whether the home has 2 parents, 1, 7, 9, the mom and then the younger sisters, blah, blah, blah. They're like multiplying. Or if they're not even with the father anymore, they just get impregnated by them so that the kids have the same father.
No matter who they are.
Yeah. Like up, died, sour, like what they loved to procreate. So I was like, of course. Why would Mason want nothing more than to immediately have a child when he can't even drive yet?
It did track, which is why it got the attention that it did.
Like this 100% could be real.
Yeah, and people were, and it apparently caught fire. I guess it was going around for days and days until Kourtney was just like, "This is sort of foul. Stop talking about it."
Yeah,
and that's it. So we have not discussed this next story at all. And it screams us so much, and also makes me want to scream.
I'm literally doing the face like that the Grinch makes whenever he's so happy, whenever he hears that there's no Christmas. Katy
Perry. I'm starting off Katy Perry, Gayle King, and Lauren Sanchez are going into space.
I can't.
These are the end times. How dare everyone involved with this? How dare you all? How fucking dare you do this to us?
The fact that me and you have spoken on the phone today 4 times today and have not said one peep about this is a travesty.
This story is like 72 hours old. I've been biting my tongue this whole time because I can't even wrap my head around how this is possible. Okay,
now I need to ask you, on a scale of 1 to 100% this is going to happen, will Katy Perry perform the song E.T. Extraterrestrial when she's up in space?
I hadn't even given that any thought. I now think it's 1 billion %.
First thought.
My first thought was, let's turn this into a reality show where the planet votes on which of those three
Doesn't
left
come
up
back.
there.
Yeah. Gets pushed out the airlock like in Battlestar Galactica.
Now we need Gayle King. Gayle King's not even involved here. Like, I need Gayle King to host it and let Lauren and Katie know one of you hoes is staying up here.
Well, people are saying like Gayle has like dirt on her hands now that she's with these two.
I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree.
Yeah, people were saying lobbying for her to be fixed.
Yeah.
Also, one of my friends.
Wait, to be fixed by us? Oh, I can't fix. I won't fix.
No,
Gayle
I
King.
said no. I said not yet.
refuse.
Not yet. I said not yet. If shit goes down up there, maybe. But one of my friends, who you also know, was like, "Who is Lauren Sanchez?"
Oh my goodness! How dare that? You need to drop that friend.
And I can't even tell you what my response was because it's so horrible.
Don't. I know exactly what you're going to say. Don't. We're not good people.
Oh God!
But they're going into space. I mean, obviously, Lauren is married or marrying the man that owns the spaceship. So I do think that this is going to happen. I really do.
And this is also like whatever the other thing that everyone DM'd me about it when I put it on my Instagram story was this is a storyline from the morning show. Remember when they all go up in space?
Yeah. Oh my God, that's hilarious.
That's
I didn't even think about
what
that.
it is. That's exactly what it is.
You know what I really wish? Remember when William Shatner went up with Jeff Bezos that time? I wish they included William Shatner with these three women. I think that would have been a hoot. Because I want his 90-year-old ass to wander onto that spaceship and be like, who are you? Who are the three of you? Who are you? I am Captain James T. Kirk. Why are you going into space? What's the gimmick?
Why are they doing this?
Gayle going into space because she's a journalist. I'm for it. Why is Katy Perry going into space? Why?
Her and Orlando Bloom definitely bet you are friends with Lauren Sanchez or want to be friends with her. And they're like California cuckoo bananas. You know what I mean?
Do you think Katy Perry is going into space because she couldn't find anyone on this planet to like her last album? So now she's going to see if the Martians will like it.
Yes.
What other reason could there be?
You're so hypnotized.
I don't.
Honestly, it could be good.
Satellites are going to, no, it will not be good.
Satellites are going to crash into each other whenever she's singing.
It won't be good.
Oh, God.
Speaking of people who belong in space, Armie Hammer has said that he tried hooking up with a man because, quote, women are the worst. Well, Armie Hammer being a misogynist, really, spoiler alert there.
Yeah,
Who says that as a sentence? Women are the worst.
Just think about me. Dominic, think about the fact that he's saying like inflammatory things on his podcast. Like we are now peers with him.
We're colleagues.
We have a podcast where we slam people. He has a podcast where he slams people. Like we're colleagues with Armie Hammer.
Our colleague, Armie Hammer, says women are the worst. So he hooked up with a man once.
Did he drink that man's blood or ask him to, remove his rib for it to be smoked? Unclear.
So I'm reading right here from Entertainment Weekly. He said he met a handsome Frenchman.
Oh, no, I watched it. I watched the video. I can tell you everything about it.
I was like, okay, this could work. Let's try this. I remember I started making out with him and I just remember being like, God, beards. I get why women like it when you shave. This is fucking rough. Rough? That's called the hot part, Armie. Step away from the man. Leave the Frenchmen to people who are actually appreciative Frenchmen.
Yeah.
Go away. Go away.
Also, P.S. That's the last love that the French are going to get on this episode of this podcast.
Goodbye, Armie Hammer. See you at the office Christmas party, I suppose.
But also, I will say that his willingness to just be like, I'll have sex with a man is very much giving like, I'm a oil billionaire. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm the son of an oil billionaire, which he is.
It's I can try this thing. Like it's not, you don't dip in and out of it. If you like it.
Like, step 3 of that is like the most dangerous game where he like hunts humans. You know what I mean?
That's coming up. He'll probably do an 8-part series on his podcast about it.
Yeah, probably.
Why not? I mean, I would listen to that.
Have I listened to episodes of his podcast? I have.
Oh my
Sadly, sad to say. With his mother, who is kookier than him and every other person combined.
The good thing about that is they hate each other so much. It's funny
Yeah.
listening to them
Yes.
try to pretend to be nice.
No, and then when he would just slam her within an inch of her life, and then she would just be like, anyway, like
Yeah.
wouldn't even address it.
Mhm. It's a fun family.
Oh,
Speaking of
God.
fun families, the Menendez brothers, we lost track of them for a couple of weeks
Yeah.
after the election and everything, because there's new law, there's new DAs in Los Angeles County. So they were supposed to have a resentencing hearing later this month. That's now being delayed a month because Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, is doing some sort of reassessment about whether or not they would be a danger to the community. He's doing like a month-long study, which will cost taxpayers money. The Menendez brothers seem to be okay with that because they have the attention of the
Like,
governor.
where are we going? They're like,
Well, the governor is a little bit more in favor of the ramifications of victimhood than the new incoming DA is. Like, it seems like the new DA is like, I'm very much paraphrasing here, so save your emails. Very much like, I don't care if they were abused by their dad. He killed them, so they have to be in jail.
killed them, so yeah.
The justice system and the psychology behind violence has changed a little bit in the 30 or 20 years since they've been in jail. Oh, Jesus, it's 30.
Mhm.
Holy shit, it really is like 35 years old.
I was like a little kid whenever the trial was happening. Yeah.
So anyway, it's changed, and Gavin Newsom's going along with that, and he was always in favor, along with Kim Kardashian, of releasing the Menendez family, the brothers.
Our girl.
So we'll see how they go. In much better news, Barbra Streisand is releasing a duets album, which will feature none other than Ms. Ariana Louise Grande on one track.
Okay.
Isn't that fun?
I wonder
Other artists to be on it include Paul McCartney.
Oh, brother.
And let me see who else. Sting, heard of him.
Oh, God.
And I kid you not, Bob Dylan.
No.
Yeah. So she seems to be covering a wide swath. It's a generational appeal on this.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
Obviously. I wonder what she will sing with Ariana. I don't know if it's all original tracks or existing tracks, but Barbra Streisand trying to do Elphaba, I'll listen to it.
Oh, yeah, of course. It'll become our theme song of the show.
Oh, my God. It really would be great.
Wait,
that was my Barbra Streisand.
She'd be like, oh.
Your Barbra Streisand sounds like Cher to me. Or does everything sound like Cher to me now?
Yes, but I will say the essential Barbra Streisand on like Apple Music. You can get it on Spotify too, but like it's all of her covering like some of the biggest Broadway songs.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing like it.
Well, the Broadway album. Well, are you talking about Barbara's Broadway album?
I don't think. Maybe it's from there, but like
it could
there's
be.
one that's
Broadway.
an
She did Back to Broadway. It's great, and they are their Broadway essential. They're great.
It's like the one song from Nothing's Gonna Harm You from.
Oh, that's the Broadway album,
Todd.
1987.
The one from
she won Grammys for that.
She sings Memory from Cats.
Yep.
She sings. What's the one song?
She sings Putting It Together. Sending the Clowns is on there. She does Putting It Together from Sunday in the Park in Georgia.
Yes.
Both of those albums are phenom, especially the first one.
Yeah.
And I know she won. I think she won best. She didn't win best album, but she definitely won like best pop. Female that year for the Broadway album. It's great.
No, but I put it on every once in a while. I'm like,
there's a lot of songs from Sweeney and The King and I.
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah.
People aren't they're not doing it like that anymore.
No,
you know?
Not. No.
If you go on YouTube, there's like special after special of her recording it and changing. It's great.
That.
It's great. Yeah. Well, we are obviously now going to give our impassioned reviews of Schmuckers, but in case we forget, we will be continuing the Schmuckers reviews on the a la carte for those of you with Patreon and Apple subscriptions if you want to listen to the rest of it. Also on the a la carte today, we will be talking about Mark Zuckerberg turning into Kendall Roy from Succession at his wife's birthday party. We will be talking about Millie Bobby Brown being critiqued for her look so hard that she just decided to not wear makeup. We'll give you that whole saga. We'll talk about Diddy's kids emptying Diddy's bank accounts while he's in jail. This is actually my favorite story of the week, and I hope everything about it is true. Mamma Mia's coming back to Broadway. There's a sequel to Handmaid's Tale. Yeah, we're talking about all of this, including a very funny story from Bruce Vilanch, famed comedian and writer, about how he was once mistaken for Travis Kelce's mother. And if you pull up a picture side by side of them, you'll be laughing the way Chris is now. It's pretty fucking hilarious.
Oh my God. And we will be doing a dramatic reading of one of the scenes of the Baldwins.
Are we going to do that on the a la carte?
I would like to.
Okay,
I only transcribed the whole scene. So
no, let's do it. Yes, as we promised last week.
This is a jam-packed a la carte this week is what I'll tell you.
And no pun intended by saying jam when we're about to speak about schmucks. But we have transcribed a scene from the first episode of The Baldwins. We don't have much to say about the second episode because we didn't fucking watch it. I think we're done. I mean, I think we're done, but maybe we'll give one more
turn
episode.
it on as I'm like doing emails, like sitting on my couch? Yes.
Yeah.
Will I be like lining up to my TV like I do for like Love is Blind? I will not be.
All right. I don't know if I'm going to
I'll do it. Like I will do it for all of us and I'll let us know.
I appreciate you taking that one for the team.
You're welcome. Yeah, you are so welcome, Dominic.
But what we're going to be doing is doing a dramatic reading as Alec and Ilaria on the a la carte today. So if you actually, I'm going to say if you have nothing better to do, but I can't imagine you do have anything better to do than listen to the two of us do something that will sound utterly ridiculous.
And if you don't think that you have nothing better to do, you do.
Yeah. Also, is it mildly racist if one of us does a Spanish accent to imitate a white person imitating a Spanish accent? I don't know.
We're doing what we see on the camera in front of us.
That's it. It's an imitation.
Okay. I will say none of the scene that we are going to read, she isn't doing an accent in any of the scenes.
Oh, well, she will if I read that part.
We'll be doing her helium breath voice. So there will be an accent, but it's...
I promise you, if given the opportunity to read lines of Hilaria Baldwin, I will be giving you my full Selma Hayek. Yeah, like there's absolutely no doubt. I'll go one step further. It will be Sofia Vergara. It will be absolutely that. Herewith, with love, Meghan. 8 episodes. I got through 2.
I'm on episode 4.
Okay. Oh my God.
And I will say, okay, in defense of her,
let's start with positives. I love that. I love it.
Positives. 1, the show itself, beautifully shot, like beyond gorgeous. Like everything. The art department should win awards. I'm serious. Like I'm not. It's every single shot of it is absolutely stunning in every single way. She looks incredible. Yeah. She's one of the most beautiful people that's on this planet. Like couldn't look better. Am I wrong about that?
Absolutely not. She is a physically stunning human being. She is absolutely.
Like just watching her, I'm just so transfixed by her face and her hair and her hands and her nails. Like
she is she's an absolutely compelling person to look at. And that alone is worth.
Sure.
Most people who we know are famous don't even have that. Why? She's so watchable. She's so perfectly put together.
Yes.
Which we'll talk about in a moment. Proceed, Christopher.
And now we're going to negatives.
Oh, I guess we're done with the
that's all that I have. That's all I have for positives is that.
Yeah, look, she leads a wonderful life that she wants to share with the world. And that is what this is. With love, Meghan is basically her saying, this is how I entertain my friends. This is how I cook. This is how I garden. This is how I beekeep and make my own honey. This is all of those things. What I do respect is like, there was no preamble here. There is no sort of, hi, it's With Love, Meghan, a show in which you're going to blah, blah, blah.
She's she's with the bees. First scene.
This entire series is a very beautiful Instagram live. That's what it is. It's get ready with me, the Netflix version. And the me is the Duchess of Smuckers. I am saying to the listenership, you should watch this. I mean, I believe that this production has actual value. I'm saying to you, don't watch The Baldwins. You're wasting your time. Give it one episode and be done. You should watch With Love, Meghan. I'm going to even admit that there were a couple of things that I want to use a word that's less reverential than learned, but there were some facts that I'd never known before about things, hacks around the house, which is sort of the point of the show. I'm not even going to list them. I'm not even going to list them. But here's the issue here.
Okay.
I don't know how to reconcile the ongoing yearn to be relatable, because this is someone who is not. Is
In
she
any
trying?
way relatable.
Is she trying to be Martha Stewart? 100%. She's
100%.
doing cakes, gardens, animals, mothering. She's doing more than Martha Stewart, actually, and she's trying to, with credentials of. She had a life. Years ago, she had a lifestyle website called The Tig, which I believe was mildly successful. So it's not like she just decided yesterday to do a lifestyle brand. She's been trying to do it
forever. Yeah.
The issue is the energy of where it's coming from is very weird. And I don't even mean to sound as disrespectful as that. It's very much like, I need you to like me for all of these reasons.
Yes. And very heavy-handed. Like the first guest is like her like makeup artist that she's been with since Suits. And he's like, you've like always been like into homemaking.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, even back then, like you loved giving gifts. And it's just so heavily produced in the sense of like, and then we find out more about Meghan through her guests. It's just so obvious is the problem.
Because you know who's not trying to be liked ever is Martha Stewart. Like
never
she's
once.
Just like, I am a bougie white bitch. This is my giant farm.
Yeah.
This is my giant staff. And here's what we're doing because I can.
Today. And here's why you're an idiot for not doing it. Like, you know what I mean? Like here, I'm
Martha
Martha
Stewart could literally be like, if you're poor, why? And we would just keep watching.
And we would be
Literally,
like, why? We'd be like, why am I poor?
I know. Good point. Who has lavender? Yeah.
And Martha Stewart's like popping in to be like, hey, P.S. Ryan Reynolds is a piece of shit. It's like, remember when she like tweeted like, he's not funny? Like she's ready to throw her hat in any ring and be a humongous bitch for no reason at all, just because she's like, hey, I should say this because I think it. And
as an aside, we really should do an episode called The Perfect Celebrity because she's absolutely one of the top 5.
Yeah.
We should do a Patreon episode coming up where, we have our list of unfixables and invincibles. Martha Stewart's the perfect celebrity.
Yeah, it kind of is.
She's beautiful. She's talented. She's been to jail. I mean, she became relatable by that.
Yeah.
Are we suggesting maybe that Meghan Markle go to jail and this
can she just do like tax? Can she like do tax fraud or something? Like something just like a white collar crime. Nothing, too bad. Where she's like not reporting income.
I want her. It's gotta be juicier than that. I need her to beat someone on her staff. Maybe not mercilessly, but maybe she just throws a lukewarm tea at her face. That's what I want. How dare you? And throws a tea and goes to jail for it.
Okay, back to steer this back on track. She so desperately is like wanting to be like, I'm just like Susie Homemaker and blah, blah. And it's like, don't. Like, just be like, the fact that it's shot not in her real house is like unacceptable to me.
And she admits it. She's like, if I were home, blah, 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 blah. That's unusual.
And you said to me on one of our many calls where we screamed at each other about the show, like, one of the first things she does is make like bath salt bombs for like her guests, which she then just like has to explain to us that we're never going to see them in the bathroom because we're not at her house. And I'm like, go into the bathroom of this house and do it. Like, what are we, or like make a set of a bathroom and do it there. Why are you doing this then if you can't show us the final? She's like, I've now prepared this, so I'm going to bring it home. And you're like, okay.
Yeah, it's weird. There's something about, it opens on... Episode 1 opens with her and her beekeeper
who's like
keeping bees.
This man, like, who's like, he looks like a beekeeper.
He looks like John Lennon, that man. That's like when he took his, he really did.
He was giving a little if John Lennon had just become a beekeeper and not.
And he's lovely and she's lovely. And you know what? I've had a chip on my shoulder for people that keep their own bees for many decades because I always think to myself,
Dominic, it's the only way that we're going to keep the planet going.
But this is my question. Do you need that much honey? Who needs that much honey? Everyone's like, oh, look at all the honey. I go through a jar of honey a year.
Yeah,
Who's eating all this honey?
It's also how you keep your allergies, right?
Is it?
Yeah, like basically like people say that the pollen that is going to come from the trees is like in the honey that has just been made. Like if you have honey, it like helps your allergies.
Well, I know we're not supposed to be killing the bees like en masse. Obviously we need them, but I didn't know. Don't tell Meghan Markle that she's saving the world because it's going to be a whole episode.
Well, she already thinks, yeah, sure. Okay, so here's what I'm going to say. There's the first 2 episodes, it's her makeup artist and then Mindy Kaling. And those 2 episodes, she's absolutely insufferable in every way the whole time.
Uh-huh.
Then we get to episode 3 where she is with this like chef from LA and she doesn't know him. And I personally did not know him. I can't remember his name off the
Okay.
top of my head because I didn't know who he was. He wasn't Mindy Kaling, an A-list celebrity. And he is a Korean chef and he is like going to make all this Korean food with her.
Yeah.
And when I tell you the show is so much better in episode 3 because he's teaching her how to make Korean fried chicken. And he makes this he makes a kimchi watermelon. And he makes all these other things with like all these, like he's helping her make all these sauces. And it's real like
I just salivated when you said kimchi watermelon.
Oh, the food. P.S. The food looked so fucking good. I was like, next time I'm in LA, I'm coming here because it looked so incredible. And he's like, helping her. And it's more of like a food process show. P.S. Has she said one recipe on this show at all? Has she told us when she's baking a cake, which P.S. baking needs exact measurements. And if you don't have them exact, it'll truly like all fall apart in the oven.
That's why I don't bake.
Has she told us one measurement of anything that she's done yet? No. Like,
the only time I think she did that was when she was making that cake that she didn't ice the sides of it. But she went through it so quickly. I was like, she doesn't know these.
But she was like, first we're going to sift some flour. But she doesn't tell me you need 2 cups of flour. Like she tells us what she's doing, but it's like, if I'm going to make this, I need to like know the measurements. As someone who's worked for 12 years in food television.
So what you're basically saying is that With Love, Meghan works best when Meghan's not driving it.
When Meghan's not driving and she's the listener and she's the student. I was fine with her. She wasn't annoying. She actually was like, because they didn't know each other, they were like, not flirting, but like they were like, had a good banter. And like, she was like, this is a really hot pepper. And she like tries it from her garden. And he's like, this is a like, not at all. And he's like, tell me this is a hot pepper. And she's like, okay, I guess you're right. Like she loosens up and is kind of like not in that, like, I need to do all this stuff to be so pretentious so that I look relatable.
Starting in episode 3, right?
In episode 3, you're seeing a different Meghan.
Because in episode 1, after she keeps those bees and comes in the house and makes her own bath salts, she's just like, I'm just obsessed with what people think and what the experience they have when they're a guest in my home. And all I'm thinking is, do you know what people get when they're a guest in my home? The couch in my living room, 1 blanket, and a pillow that smells like my dandruff shampoo because I took it off my actual bed and said, here's a pillow. There is no homemade bath salts in a jar with a burlap. No, I wouldn't. I don't entertain like that.
But episode 3, you get to see there's progress.
So not a pan from Fixing Famous People.
I mean,
we're not panning the shows.
The first 2 episodes are pretty brutal.
This is what, Chris, I'm going to pull something on you unprecedented right now.
Okay.
You're not expecting. I'm giving you a fix in the Pre-Fixe. This is what I'm doing. Remember last summer when we went to Provincetown and we binge watched BattleBots
Couldn't forget
a
it.
week on and off?
Yes,
okay.
Correct.
What we're going to do this summer is we're going to binge watch another show that I can't stop thinking about today. It was an 80s and 90s daytime talk show on Lifetime called Attitudes. Okay.
It
was hosted by 2 white, middle-aged, incredibly bougie women. Okay. It was a lifestyle show.
Okay.
And studio show. They shot on 125th Street here in New York. One of the women was soap legend Linda Dano, who is still with us.
Okay.
And the other person they swapped in over the years. Nancy Glass did it. Dee Kelly was another one of them. So these 2 women would basically do a lifestyle show. They'd have guests. It was crafts. It was women's health issue, all this stuff. But 30% of the show, a full 30% of the show, was these 2 pop-collared, pompadoured, chunky jewelry 80s women.
Yeah. Jane Fonda and Grace and Frankie, like
being
ready to go.
As amazed with themselves, each other, and everything around them. Saturday Night Live, it was Jan Hooks and Nora Dunn. If you get a chance, if you don't know what show I'm talking about, Google Saturday Night Live Attitudes. They spoofed the show so well. Like it's the actual show. Like they spoofed it within an inch of its life. It's brilliant. Yeah. Like 30% of the show is these 2 women go, oh. It's just, it's insane.
P.S. Who does that sound like, by the way?
Me, every day. I think maybe that show formed my personality more than Dallas and Dynasty.
Okay, we're watching that. We're going to watch that live and I'm going to react.
But here is my fix. I want, because these 2 cataclysmic events happening so close to each other is not a coincidence. I want Meghan Markle and Hilaria Baldwin to reboot Attitudes. Are you okay?
Dominic.
Are you okay? I want them to reboot attitudes. And much like you and I have a competition at the end of each episode of this show, I want them to have a competition every day, but who is more amazed with what they've done with their own day. Can you imagine?
This is incredible.
Oh, cucumber, Harry. Oh, Eduardo. Oh, I
Raphael.
cannot wait. Raphael? Meghan will be like, who are you talking to? My Caucasian son, Rava.
I don't have words for this right now. This is the saddest part, though, is that what would really happen is Meghan would crush her under the weight of her money and power.
All right, I want to talk about this more in the a la carte because this is a real idea we should flesh out.
P.S. We're oh my God, we got to go.
We love you, and we'll be back with Rebecca Bregman to talk about the Oscars after these vital messages.
This is a mini meditation guided by Bombas. Repeat after me. I'm comfy. I'm cozy. I have 0 blisters on my toes. And that's because I wear Bombas, the softest socks, underwear, and t-shirts that give back. One purchased equals one donated. Now go to bombas.com/Wondery and use code WONDERY for 20% off your first purchase. That's BOMBAS.com/Wondery and use code WONDERY at checkout.
Did you know that parents rank financial literacy as the #1 most difficult life skill to teach? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app for families. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Kids learn to earn, save, and spend wisely, and parents can rest easy knowing their kids are learning about money with guardrails in place. Try Greenlight risk-free today at greenlight.com/Wondery.
Listeners, before we went to break, I forgot to say that we are on YouTube and put all of the episodes on YouTube. So if you have a YouTube account, please just follow us on YouTube, please. Fixing Famous People. We need more subscribers so that we can get a wider audience there, so that we can have more reach there, and it would be really appreciated. Thank you.
And do
much.
more fun things, obviously.
Yeah,
The
we
more
can
of you
do
there
more
are, the more
there
shit
if
can do.
we get more people with us there.
It's not just about helping us purchase eggs, which are now very expensive. It goes beyond that.
Yes. We also did not plug. We're going to be on Reality to Life with Kate Casey this week, going full throttle on With Love, Meghan.
On Meghan.
So
Yep.
just FYI. So look out for that. And now let's start the 3rd annual Oscars Spectacular.
Live from, the Bronx, Manhattan, and Hoboken. It is the 3rd annual Fixing Famous People Oscars Spectacular.
With our special guest, Sue Mengers. I mean, Rebecca Bregman.
Hi, honeys. How are you, honeys?
Rebecca is dressed as Sue Mengers.
Or Bradley Cooper's mother.
Or Bradley Cooper's mother. Yeah.
I'd like to shout out Rebecca Bregman, who, for my birthday last week, gifted me with a book, copyright 1985.
Mm-hmm.
And the name of the book is Sensational Scarfs. Not scarves, scarfs. And it details 44 different ways that you can tie a scarf. I'm talking do-rag. I'm talking bandeau. I'm talking skirt for those of you who are twiggish. It's a lot. It was a lot to take in. When I actually sat down stoned yesterday to read I was actually going to read it. I didn't realize that in the inside cover, you would put a little sticker that said, "To Dom from Rebecca, I love you." And who does that anymore? First of all, who even gives gifts anymore? It so rarely happens. And who puts a little tag on it like that? You're a very special Sue Rebecca Bregman Mengers. You are a special woman.
Thank you so much. I love you.
I love you. Let's get right into it. I want to say off the bat, I don't think either of you disagree. On the whole,
Preparation H does feel good. It's all I think about. Do you remember that? On the whole, I thought it was a great night. I thought it was well produced. I thought it moved. I thought there was
there were enough surprises and glamour. Like it was great. Like I'll remember this year as, remember that year the Oscars were really good. I will remember it as such.
It dragged. I thought there was a couple places it dragged. Here's the thing. This is probably the third time I've said this.
Yeah, we say it every time.
Every time it drags in places, but we have such a love of entertainment and movies and glitz and glamour that, well, I guess at the top, I should tell you the news that Donald Trump is now the president of the Academy. So it might be different next year. But
Janet Yang sent back in yesterday.
Yep. So I just think it's always going to be our thing in a way, unless even when, you know, like the Cinderella thing happened,
Sure.
like it's just like,
well, this is the thing though, that's so funny to me is that it's like, if you don't watch the movies or if you don't like aren't in the know of like the movies that were big and blah, blah, like they act like they want that they're like, we need to get like young kids watching the Oscars. And it's like, but if I'm not watching the movies, I don't want to watch this. Like it doesn't make any sense to watch this.
Right.
So it's like funny that there's like, and I didn't really think that they did that much this year, which I feel like in past years they definitely did to be like the virality of all of it and blah, blah.
Yes.
Like, well,
it depends on the movies. I mean, like with Barbie last year, it was just built in. They were going to have a Ken number and all that other
and
shit.
they had, you know, Wicked.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's Wicked. And then what? A 12-year-old's going to watch well, I would have. Like a 10-year-old's going to watch a Nora. Or the 9-year-old's going to watch The Brutalist and talk about fascism. Like, no.
Yeah, no. Well, but do you know what I mean? It's like you wouldn't watch them like it's something a lot of my friends in TV and I talk about is like something being on the broadcast. Like someone doesn't like have a pang in their head that they don't do, and That's So Raven, where they're like, oh my God, like the Oscars is going to have this thing I need to watch and it's happening right now. Like, so it's like the show is for us, the viewers that come every year.
That's right.
Not everyone else.
And it was great. It was that. I mean, there was such a trip. There was the Emmys did this too recently, where I felt like it was for people who love entertainment.
Yeah.
And it's nice that they're getting back to it. I think they understand that neither of these broadcasts are ever going to get Super Bowl style numbers.
No.
So they just have to treat it like as big of an event as it can possibly be. And what you don't want to do is alienate the people who it's for. And so
like us,
a 10-minute introduction of Wicked, 2 minutes into it, I was like, I don't know if the mainstream audience is going to love this. And then I just sat down and I was like, but I do. Like, I love this. And I almost put my pen down at that point. I proceeded to enjoy the absolute shit out of every cutaway of Ariana looking at Cynthia Erivo from off stage, rejoining, kissing her hand, leaving again. I'm like, yo, this is a gay man's fucking dream. Like, it was great. It was that opening. There were a lot of great moments. That was my favorite moment of the night. I was
me too
on my feet and with chills when that happened.
With
it was
also incorporating The Wiz both that time and then with Queen.
Fantastic idea.
I thought the Conan opening with The Substance was clever, funny.
Hilarious.
Yeah,
it went on 30 seconds too long, but it was still
Always.
really funny.
Always, yeah.
But Cynthia and Ariana, first of all, that's why they're not doing any of the performances of the nominated songs, because they were like, well, we just want them to sing the Wicked song. Like we went to actual performers to perform these songs.
I have my note about them not performing the original song is somebody online was like, what are they gonna like? Is this it? And I think that next year when the song from Wicked for Good is nominated and Cynthia is nominated, they will bring that category back
100%.
to be those songs were.
The songs this year weren't great.
Yeah, it wasn't Billie Eilish and it wasn't 3 6 Mafia. So they're not going to put them on the stage.
I will say that the two numbers from Emilia Perez, very difficult to sort of like, they're so baked into the actual plot of the movie. It would have been a challenge to do either one of those.
And neither of them were penis to vagina.
I know.
I didn't want to see it.
I don't want to see it.
Strangely, that song was not nominated.
Sadly, I know, it's so weird. No, but I thought Cynthia and Ariana were perfect. And again, I mean, when you think of music and cinema, what is the first song that you think of? It's Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Like, hello, we're back to basics. You know what I mean?
And the fact that it dovetailed so lovely with the tribute to Los Angeles and the fact it was like, it was meant to be. It felt meant to be. It was a wonderful moment.
They did great. And no matter what you thought of Wicked, it was like, here's two
Mhm.
absolute stars of humongous talent.
Stars.
Like killing it.
Killing it.
Loved that. I will say, didn't need Conan's musical number at the beginning.
No.
Once we got once we got Defying Gravity live, where she did it like
Mhm.
the best she's ever done it. I don't need the I won't waste your time tap dance number from Conan O'Brien.
No.
Sorry to say.
But, and I agree with you on the whole with that.
But
But
gonna kill you.
But were it not for that musical number, we wouldn't have gotten one of my other favorite moments of the evening, which was the 2 appearances by the Dune Sandworm.
Yes. I loved the Dune Sandworm.
I loved it. Loved it.
It was stupid.
Dumb.
It was bad.
Dumb.
It was hilarious.
Dumb. It was so funny.
When that thing showed up playing the harp later on, I jumped off. I thought I was going to piss my pants. I was laughing so hard.
Dying. It's like remember last year whenever the dog from Anatomy of a Fall, remember was like, did little clapping dog hands for it. Like so stupid.
I love that. I love that dumb
so
stuff.
funny.
Yeah.
So funny.
Mm-hmm.
And truly, what a missed opportunity when Dune 2 won the Academy Award for visual effects. Why the fuck did that sandworm not wander out on stage?
Yes, and just be in the background, not even needing to pull. Yeah.
It would have been the most viral moment of the night if they had done that. I was so confused. I'm like, who's that? The person in the sandworm must have been taking a shit. I mean, they must have thought of it, right?
Or cut to the sandworm in the audience, watching them, being
clapping,
oh my
freaking
God,
out.
that would have been
hilarious.
I loved the joke about John Lithgow seeming disappointed if the speeches went on too long. But here's the thing. They never they never circled back.
We'll
and there
get
were
there.
at least 8 times that they could
We'll get there.
I'm not even talking about you-know-who. I'm talking about literally almost all of them were where the show faltered. It's like, maybe they got to it's like you want to see the people speak, and let's just be, you just want to see the actors speak. And when the actors are speaking, they've got to have a 2-minute, they got to honor that. It makes the show terrible.
What it wasn't the Oscars. What was it that was was it the Emmys that Anthony Anderson hosted and his mom was in the audience?
Mom was in the audience.
And she was like, and she had the sign that said "wrap it up." Like that was funny, and they used it. It was And then the person got to be like, "Oh my God, LOL!" Like I'm getting the hook got taken out on me, so now I gotta go. And it was like a funny way to be like, "Shut your mouth." You know what I mean? And so they need. Well, please. Well, we will get there to He Who Must Not Be Named.
Yeah,
but they needed it desperately many times before that, and then really that time.
Mm-hmm. I loved when Ray came out and sang Skyfall, which was a horrific juxtaposition to Doja singing Diamonds Are Forever, which was unbearable. I couldn't believe it.
I think, why?
It appeared unrehearsed.
It's Doja Cat. So what do you expect is going to happen?
Why did they do that? I get,
the 3 of them are in have a song right now that's very popular.
No, but
together.
I mean, why James Bond? And I understand the Broccolis were being honored by the Governor's Award, and so was Quincy Jones. But it was, I don't know if it was I don't want to get too political, but the handing the Bond franchise to Amazon and is it fuck you? But also to do Skyfall, I don't know. It's could they not get Adele? You know what I mean?
Well, only because that was they did Skyfall because it's the only Bond song that's won an Academy Award. So I think that's why they chose Skyfall.
Didn't Billie Eilish's song win an Academy Award? Billie Eilish's Bond song?
Oh, Skyfall was the first.
Skyfall was Adele. I think a lot of Bond songs win. Shirley Bassey didn't win.
Because they're usually good.
A small correction. Skyfall was the first Bond song to win. The second Bond song, and then every Bond song nominated after Skyfall just won. After Goldfinger, Diamonds Are Forever, The Car, Live and Let Die. None of these songs won.
A View to a Kill.
No, none of these songs won.
It's unbelievable.
Then Sam Smith's Writing on the Wall, and then Billie Eilish's Penis to Vagibond was, I believe, the name of that song.
If we had all the money in the world, if we could ask Billie Eilish to record Penis to Vagina, I would die happy.
Can you imagine?
I would die happy.
I
Not
never
really.
even want to talk about that song. At the end of this episode, I don't.
Okay.
The
Copy.
phrase "penis to vagina."
Well, it's a sad thing that you're on this podcast with me, Dominic. Because
By the way,
I'll tune it out.
that's how straight people talk about sex. Just so you
penis
know.
to vagina.
Penis
Yeah,
to vagina. When I get hit on at bars, they're like, "Do you want a penis to vagina?"
Vagina, yeah.
And I'm always like, "I guess." Yeah.
But yeah, no, Doja Cat, like, yowza.
Yeah. Yowza. Sorry.
And like, why couldn't she sing that first song and then the Lisa girl from Blackpink, couldn't she sing a harder song? Like, Diamonds Are Forever is a hard song to sing.
Yeah.
And like, Doja Cat's like not really a singer.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and also she seemed so flip about how good it wasn't. You know what I mean? It was almost like she was deliberately walking through it. It's a Shirley
know.
Bassey
Yeah.
song.
It's
Also, Shirley Bassey, they could have brought. I
That's
know
what
she's very old.
yes.
She could have sung.
She
it.
could have sung it. Yeah.
No,
She
but
still
that
sings it in concert.
this is one place where it's like a mishap of
Mishap.
like, let's do viral. Like, oh, they have a song right now that's like number one. Like which it's a really good song.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? But it's like they could all three be together and then young kids will watch this. And it's like they're
No,
watching
they're not.
like fucking what's his name? Not even Pierce Brosnan. It's like a compilation of like fucking Sean Connery being like, they don't even know who that is. You know what I mean?
God, no.
It wasn't even that long ago that they did the 50th anniversary of Bond on
That's
the
right.
Oscars. So I
That's
was
right.
like,
Yes.
that made it seem to me like they sort of forced this broccoli deal recently so they could announce it and give it more at the Academy Awards because
Yes.
it was a little too much of a coincidence.
And Dom was right. The last episode, Margaret Qualley was out dancing because she is now Jane Bond. She's going to be in a 10-part miniseries, Jane Bond, premiering on Amazon next year.
Oh,
That's not
really?
true. Sue Mengers, stop it. I believed you.
She's my client. Should I mount that play? Okay, go on.
Okay, here's what I'm going to say about Conan O'Brien.
Okay. And here's what I'm going to say after you say it.
In
Go ahead.
response to whatever I'm going to say.
Yeah.
He was playing it a little too fast and loose for my
Okay.
take. Whereas like, I feel like in the last 2 years, it was Jimmy Kimmel and I felt very comforted by Jimmy Kimmel's
Okay.
ushering it.
Mhm.
Whereas I feel like Conan was trying to be like cool and hip and like, was like, am I right? Like a lot of the time he's like, yeah, bring it, go, like, give it up for this. Like, and I didn't, and whereas Jimmy Kimmel, I felt very like, this was very rehearsed and I'm doing this. And I'm like, I felt good in the arms of Jimmy Kimmel. Whereas with Conan, some of the time I was like, does he know he's supposed to speak right now or not? Like there was a part, does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was just a little too loose for me,
Okay.
which is just a micro, like that's a very micro.
Yeah, I think that's
note,
his comedy. That's how
Yeah.
he is.
Yeah.
What I was going to say, I think he was even more muted, actually. And I think it's because of like for us, maybe we don't think about it as much as people in LA, but there was the concern that the award show is even going to happen because of the fires. And
Right.
I wonder if, because usually he's even a little more wacky. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The joke of the night for me, I thought he did a really solid job. The joke of
We
the
all
night
know.
was when he said that the F word was said in an aura 479 times, which came in second place to the amount of times said by the publicist of Carla Sofia Gascon.
it was
Best joke of the
Yeah.
fucking night.
Yeah.
perfect. And it was like, you're going to tweet that, Sophie, like, or whatever,
Yeah.
Carla.
And if you
then
tweet
she-
it, my name is Jimmy Kimmel.
Kimmel, yeah, hilarious. And
Great.
that part was like top tier of
Yeah.
his rendition.
Uh,
And it was a perfect way to acknowledge it and then move on and never speak
Yep.
about it again.
Yep. She
Perfect.
she skipped the red carpet, obviously. Like we
She
only
should.
got
Yes.
glimpses
She
of
should
her in
have.
the audience. Again, it's a real shame because it was never, we'll talk about this, but it was never acknowledged in the show that this was the first time a trans woman was nominated for Best
Yeah.
Act, which is,
Well, and
it
there's
sucks.
more.
And we've said
Yes.
that on the pod before. It sucks because
Mhm.
that's something, man. Like that's
Yeah.
truly an achievement. And it just wasn't referenced at all because of it. It sucks.
Are we going to talk fashion?
Yeah. Unless you want to keep talking about Amelia, since we're on that track.
Yeah,
and
I
then
mean,
get off
I
of it. I
mean,
know it's a little
please.
negative, but at no
Yeah.
point did any of the people who accepted awards for Amelia Perez, and there were only two, one for Best Song and one for Best Supporting Actress. No one mentioned trans people.
Nope.
No.
And I think it's because that whole film was a performance, was
Yeah.
performative.
Yeah.
I just think it's a performative film. And those people who won for Best Original Song, get them off my screen. I never want to see them again.
Okay. I need you guys to know that Eric's boyfriend was with us, who is Cuban. And he literally, clitorally was like, wait, what about this movie? What? Huh? Like, had no idea. I
Right.
go, no, it's a French film and they did it in Mexico, but none of the people working on it are Mexican and they're all French. And they wrote a movie about Mexico cartel bosses.
No, didn't
And-
they film it in France?
Yes, they filmed it in France.
Did they?
yes.
Oh, I didn't even know
it's a
that.
French
That's
film.
what I'm saying.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. And he was like, what?
Mhm.
And I was like, uh-huh. And you watched him literally just be silently enraged. And then he goes, so do the people writing these songs have any idea what the like language that they're going to be like? He was so like he was all of us, but like condensed into like 15 seconds from like us watching like the 3-hour movie. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, and he was freaking. And
Yeah.
then they got up on the stage and gave that speech. And I was like, that should have been the first John Lithgow being like,
Yeah, get out of here.
It would
wrap
have been
it up
great
and get-
because they're in the grand scheme, they would have been in on the joke. I feel like they would have liked it. And also, when they started singing at the end, they should have just cut to John Lithgow. Like,
Yes.
They
would have.
they were like trying to make a sing along. None of us know this fucking song.
They-
It's not Diamonds Are Forever. We don't know
also
your
not like a
stupid
singable
song.
It's that.
No.
It's that moment
No.
when she's in the club, in the cabaret club, dancing from table to table. It's like a narrative piece. You couldn't sing it if you wanted to.
Also, want to know what song we all know the words to?
Stop it. Stop this right now. And by the way, we all is that you need to put that in quotes. We all know those 3 words.
No,
for
but like
sure.
those two were like enemies of the state after this. Like the number of
They should
DMs
get
that I got
arrested.
that were
Nobody
like,
wants to see them
these
again.
people are like menaces. Like
Yeah.
they were like, people were like calling for their heads. Right. Rightfully so.
And we'll
Yeah,
talk
rightfully.
about worst moments in a minute. I have a couple of more great moments before
Okay.
we get on to fashion. I loved Mick Jagger walking out and presenting
Me
that.
too.
I fucking loved it. I thought it was
Insane.
awesome.
He looked great, right?
And he looked fantastic. And the fact that he was replacing Bob Dylan, that is a true story, unbelievable. That Bob Dylan said they should get someone younger and then they called Mick Jagger. How fucking fantastic was it? And he's still with it. When I'm 100 and whatever, I want to
Yeah.
be as with it as he is.
Well, when you're as creepy as he is, you know you live a long time.
Mhm.
And 2 other quick things, just for nostalgia reasons. I loved seeing Oprah and Whoopi together.
Great.
all
Great
dressed up,
moment.
both looking fierce at the Oscars,
Mm.
getting shots of Cynthia Erivo in the audience who played the Whoopi role on Broadway. It was just, it was great. And finally, for good moments, I love Nick Offerman as the announcer.
Oh,
His
it's
Yeah, it
voice-
was
so
great.
great.
You want to talk about a warm blanket?
Yes.
Like what you were feeling from Jimmy Kimmel last year, I got every time I heard Ron
Yeah.
Swanson's voice.
Agree.
It was
Agree.
great. It was
Yeah.
great.
My number one, or one of my number ones, was the June Squibb. Wow.
Oh, yes. Loved it.
Talk about with it. Like she pulled off that joke. Like she told that joke. She told that joke. And I was nervous that she was going to go.
Yeah, I was nervous that we were going to get a Liza Minnelli, a Lady Gaga situation where she,
Yeah.
and it wasn't that, which was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Where we did get one a little bit was Goldie Hawn and Andrew Garfield, but it was
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
And she was holding his hand, and she was clearly like, "You want to talk about Parker Posey and White Lotus, lorazepam?"
Yeah.
Like that was a
times 12.
commercial
That was-
for lorazepam.
I was uncomfortable during it. I
Yeah,
felt like
it was-
Andrew Garfield was manhandling. It was sort of like a reverse Bill Belichick thing happening with those
How
two.
dare you? How dare you bring
I
up Bill
couldn't get into
Belichick?
it.
Oh, Dom just talking about Bill Belichick.
I just put Bill Belichick on the unfixables list.
Oh, okay.
2 minutes before we started this, Christopher put Bill Belichick on the
And you were like,
unfixables
"Who's
list
that?"
on a Patreon.
Yeah.
I Googled him and spent the past 15 minutes. No, I knew exactly who he was,
Yeah.
but yeah, Andrew Garfield, that's how you wear brown, by the
Yeah.
way.
Sure,
Jeremy
yeah.
Strong, Andrew
Take
Garfield
notes.
is how you wear brown. Stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't even get me started on him.
Oh, we'll start. We got a few minutes. We'll go.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sue.
I'm gonna go with Jeremy Strong. How it was the most Jeremy Strong moment when who was it? Was it Conan? Who came on?
Robert
and was,
Downey Jr., who came out and
Sorry.
said,
Yes,
Jeremy Strong,
sorry.
obviously the most serious actor who's ever lived.
And he said, you were there on the bleachers, which is some story Jeremy Strong tells where he was like waiting outside the Academy Award, and he gave the Jeremy Strong face, and he did it where you could see the tears welling up in his eyes because he was doing the thing I hate.
Oh, he
in
was going to
Hollywood.
cry.
he was going to cry.
Yeah.
And I was like, you fucking bitch, doing your thing, doing your like, thank you so much. But
Meanwhile, he's making fun of you.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's making fun of you.
Dramaturgically. Yes.
Yeah.
But our DJ, so Hollywood.
Can still get it, by the way.
That
He's
he's
the
so
Hollywood.
hot.
He might, honestly, he's Robert Evans for the younger generation.
100%. He's Robert Evans to my Sue Mengers. Like he should be sitting next to me in those like flared pants he was wearing. Just he was like his riffs. I mean, obviously that was scripted, but he riffed it because he's just like that guy scatting.
Because he's all DJ, baby.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he's got that Oscar now, he can do whatever the hell he wants.
Yeah, and
basically.
I think what a great comeback story though for for Robert Downey Jr.
Let's pop fashion in before we get to worst moments.
Yeah.
Good fashion. Those ladies from Wicked, 1-2 punch.
Incredible
stars
in character, but not avant-garde, couture on. But I can't say enough about either one. I was like, she looked like a lamp. Yeah, well, great. Yeah, she looked like a great fucking lamp.
That's the point. I got in a fight with Kate Casey about it because she was like, "Oh, what about these things?" I was like, she goes, "I love this dress by this person. I would wear that." I go, "I shouldn't ever say I would wear that to any of these things.
Never.
Or I ever had a place to go to wear this."
They
you know what I mean?
Met Galla'd the Oscars.
Yes, in the best way possible.
And look, were they ridiculous outfits? Sure. Like we were all wondering, how are these people going to sit in their assigned seats?
When Ariana Grande had her phone on top of one of her little bubble
Yes.
parts.
I love that.
It was incredible.
I love that.
Incredible.
Cynthia's nails were absolutely out of this world. She showed each and every one of them in one of the pre-show walk down the red carpet. Absolute art.
Oh, I didn't know they were all like individual.
Yeah, like individual, like there was a clock on one. It was all gold gilded and green and gorgeous and takes 5 hours. And it was art.
And
it was amazing.
We talked about this in our group chat, but like there was a lot of like big A-list celebrities that weren't there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like, so we missed a little bit of the star power of like, oh my God, there's Nicole Kidman.
Yes.
There's this person. But like Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo like filled those roles.
Yes, they did.
I think we were seeing a new guard for those people. You know?
I don't know where Leo was, but a lot of other people I realized like from reading they are filming The Odyssey. That's what it is. A lot like Damon.
The ABC show The Odyssey.
Yes,
Doctor, you're out of your mind. Doctor, you're out of your mind.
No. The movie, what's his name movie? The Chris
Chris Nolan movie?
Like The Odyssey.
The Odyssey. The Christopher Nolan movie. There's
like
so
with
many.
Odysseus.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is being filmed right now. And it's like Matt Damon and all these big actors are in it. So a lot of people were saying that was probably why. But Leo might
the
be
regular
filming.
A-list was definitely not. No Nicole, Julia, no Brangelina,
no Meryl.
No Meryl. Everyone's
busy.
The SNL 50 event was actually much more star-studded than the Academy Awards this year.
Yeah.
But still many stars. I mean, these are still stars.
So sure.
It
wasn't our mainstay. So it's like, again, remember like at the Met Gala, remember last year whenever we were like, okay, at least someone came to work and it was Nicole Kidman.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And we were like, thank God she's here. Like that this year was like Cynthia and Ariana for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like really a lot. Like no, like
no, I know.
Like Denzel, Viola, like who are all the big ones? Like all of them. They were all the
And Denzel had a movie. So, you know, Denzel was in Gladiator.
All this to say, like, I didn't feel like no one was there. Do you know what I mean? Like, who was there? Like Timothy Chalamet, like he was there. Even though I can't stand him, Jeremy Strong. Like it was.
Yeah, he's
the people that
Timothy
were
Chalamet
there.
is the new A-list. I think. I mean, I think he's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I still wish he wasn't there with Kylie Jenner. I didn't want.
We all agree.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Okay. Also, other fashions I liked. Selena Gomez, maybe this is the defining look of her career. So
she looks
far.
She looked incredible.
A lot of sparkly.
Yes, Halle Berry.
Halle Berry looked great.
That little hair, that hair flip.
Great.
Yeah.
She's ageless.
She looked just as good as she
looks
did
amazing
when she was in freaking whatever, Tomorrow Never Dies or whatever.
Yeah.
Whichever that one was. Yeah.
Demi Moore looked great. Also in sparkly. And
Yes.
speaking, by the way, of sparkly, Mindy Kaling also wore a sparkly dress.
Mhm.
And all I could think to myself when I saw her on the red carpet was 2 years ago, she was the first celebrity to do Ozempic, and she walked down that carpet and everyone
was crucified.
launched. This podcast, no different. In the 2 years since then, she has remained the same weight and is now the fattest person on the red carpet.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? I'm exaggerating, but like,
Yeah.
literally everyone on the red carpet walked down looking
It was like skin and bone. Like
toothpicks.
Halloween. Spirit Halloween store.
Did you see Lizzo?
No.
Oh,
she
Google
was
it right
there?
now. Well, she went to the Vanity Fair party. She didn't go to the Oscars, so maybe I'm cheating. But she was always beautiful, but she is noticeably thinner now. And I know she's been posting a little bit, but she just looks different. It looks absolutely gorgeous,
goodness.
right? In that black
Wow.
dress. You seen her? Yeah.
Wow. Chris, you got to watch it. You got to see it.
Oh, wow. Holy shit. I mean, yeah, you can see it. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Whoopi looked.
Ozempic.
Yep. I thought Whoopi looked great. I love
Yep.
the dress that she had
I
on.
love
We
the
never
dress.
see her dress. I thought
Yeah.
I loved it. It was very flattering for her. I mean, a joke, but not. But that muumuu that June Squibb was rocking, in a heartbeat, I'd wear that on the train. I would have
You
no
have
problem
that,
with that.
Dominic. You
I do.
own that.
I have something very similar.
Yeah.
And
Coleman
the last
Domingo.
one is
Coleman Domingo
was
always.
just about to say that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally
He
agree.
always slays. Okay, here's what I'm going to say. He always does amazing. All the other men thought they were really doing something by just like having a sparkly brooch on. Every single guy that went up there to get an award had a sparkly brooch, and they
Adrian
really
Brody,
thought they were like,
right.
You know what that
doing
was with
something.
Adrian Brody? That was his girlfriend's earring.
Oh, bro.
She wore the one and
Don't even.
as an earring, and then that rapist's
His
wife.
girlfriend, Georgina Weinstein.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Gum catcher and
Uh-huh.
enabler Georgina Weinstein.
Gum catcher.
We'll get to that.
Wow.
in a minute.
That's
She-
just. You want to know a way that I would truly jump off of a bridge is if you threw chewed gum at me. I'm serious.
Mhm.
Chewed gum is the
Mhm.
most disgusting thing on this planet.
I'm still trying to ignore it because it was very in the moment. Like, what am I going to do? And I like that she was trying to catch it and wasn't. She looked like a mom. Like
No, but
only someone
she
with children would
looked
actually
like,
catch gum with her open hand.
Looked like a mom whose clitoris was exploding because she was like so horny that like she was in all these shots with him.
Yeah, she was not hating that.
Was the piano? Wait, what was the movie?
And if no
called
one
that he
knows what we're
won?
talking about,
The-
Harvey Weinstein's
Brutalist?
ex-wife is a designer named Georgina Chapman. She is the girlfriend of Adrian Brody, who won the Oscar for The Brutalist.
What was his other movie that he won the Oscar for? The Piano.
The Pianist.
The Pianist.
The
Was
penis,
that a Miramax
Not
movie?
to be confused with The Pianist 2.
Vaginaist.
The
That's another movie.
Penis to the vaginaist. Colon and the
It is
vaginaist.
pronounced vaginist, but go ahead.
Yeah.
Was The Pianist a Miramax
Wait,
movie?
the pianist to colon the vaginist,
The vaginist.
is a Photoshop. Samaya and Craig, like you guys can battle it out, but that needs to be photoshopped tomorrow. Anyway, continue.
I'm just looking to see if The Pianist was Miramax because
It was.
Was it? Oof, I don't know.
I'll bet you $5. You can look
Okay.
it up while we move on.
Okay.
Let's talk about bad fashion, and I have
Oh, and
to
it was
put
never forget it was directed by Roman Polanski.
yep.
Anyway,
For
okay,
bad fashion, I have to put Timothy Chalamet at the top of that list.
didn't like it.
I didn't like it.
Mm-mm.
if he would have had
It
a
wasn't even
black,
I didn't like the color. I didn't like the fit. I didn't.
fit was
I
bad.
just didn't like it.
and he either needed to do also yellow shoes, or there needed to be a black tie and a black belt, and then that would have been so much better. And the pants needed to be hemmed,
Mhm.
and it would have been
The
great.
shoes made him look like a character from like the Seven Dwarfs, like
Sure.
that.
Like
Yeah.
it was
He
dopey.
looked like a little
Yeah.
boy. It was
Yeah.
almost
Yeah.
like he wanted to look as young as possible when accepting it to hammer home that he was the youngest.
You know how like when remember in 30 Rock whenever Liz had like her lawyer and it's literally like a 17-year-old in like his dad's suit.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And they do it on purpose to be like he's like a little boy. Like that's like what
that?
he looked like a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I need to talk about Zoe Saldana.
Yeah.
I love her. I'm thrilled she won. She's a lead in the movie, but one supporting. So good for you because you did
Yeah,
all
sure.
the heavy lifting.
Mhm.
I thought she looked like the eggplant emoji. I felt terrible when I saw her walk down the. I don't know why I reacted so badly to that dress.
There's a part of it that it could work if it was like kept having ruffles going. I'm looking at it right now, and it's like if it was the fact that it was like 2 ruffles and then it went straight down. It's just like so blob. Whereas like if it kept having ruffles and they got bigger and bigger and bigger, that's then like jaw drop. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Her speech was one of the best of the night as well. And I was encouraged when it was early on when she started talking about her family and to her family and getting like a genuinely emotional at the right unrehearsed times. I was very touched by her speech. Of course, she could have mentioned trans people, but also,
which again is like, what the fuck? Like,
I know.
Why are you not saying that?
I think a slight on her part because she's been very like pro, like the whole, she is a true ally. Okay. I am not calling her allyship into question, but someone should have said something.
Yes.
Coupled with, we can't even talk about Carla Sofia Gascon being there unless we joke about it. Someone should have said something. This is the funniest fact that I heard all night. Zoe Saldana is the 3rd Latina to win the award for Best Supporting Actress at the Oscars, but the first to not win for West Side Story.
That's a fact.
Isn't that fucking odd? Yep. Because the only other 2 times someone was Rita Moreno.
Which is terrible. And Ariana DeBose.
Yeah. For the same role. In the same movie. Yeah.
That's insane. That's
a funny fact.
We are horrible.
We are
a
horrible country.
We're horrible. We deserve to get blown off the planet.
Yeah, now, the last thing I want to say about bad fashion is I don't know why. It was late in the evening, obviously, and I was several joints in, and I didn't have my glasses on during the group chat. And all I know is when Cillian Murphy walked out on set, various group chats were like, is that Billie Eilish? Is that Brandon Carlisle? Is that Mo from the Three Stooges? I mean, it was literally like all the group chats were exploding. They're like, who is that? And then one of you said, who won Best Actor last year? And I'm like, that lesbian on camera right now, Cillian Murphy. That's why he's here. He's giving the award.
Oppenheimer.
Oh, God. I want to say, wait, hold on. Let me scroll back because I want to say that because I said Billie Eilish.
You said Billie Eilish.
You're the one that did Billie.
Yeah.
But then I think that, okay, here it is. Yes, this is right. I said, okay, Hassan legitimately just thought that Cillian Murphy was Brandi Carlisle. And like, not as a joke. He was like, that's Brandi. Like, he was dead serious.
What if we had Brandi Carlisle, Cillian Murphy, and Keith Urban on the stage?
Dominic would turn into dust.
Well, I want to say one thing too. I have very coolly and jokingly been saying for the past 2 years that Meg Ryan and Keith Urban are the same person. I got to say that Meg Ryan looked, no longer. I may not say it any longer.
No, she looked great.
She looked good.
Yeah, and I apologize. To Meg Ryan only, not to old razor cut from down under. Absolutely not. Why was Meg Ryan limping when she came out there? That was never explained. Was she wearing a boot or something? I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
And also, I guess I didn't realize
plantar fasciitis.
When you're watching, this is neither here nor there, but when you're watching When Harry Met Sally, you're not really aware of their age difference. You are now, though.
Yeah,
I mean, it's wosy wozos.
Well, yeah.
She looks like it was like 50 versus 75.
Yeah,
he looks utterly amazing.
He's getting like really old.
He's an old man. Yeah.
Also, his house just burned down.
Billy Crystal's?
Really?
Oh my God. Now I feel terrible. He looks 40. Let's move on.
Yeah.
How terrible. What do we think of Miley Cyrus with what's with the eyebrow bleaching? What's happening?
She's on the worst list for me.
All right.
She's now done this like same exact look like 6 times now. But just different dresses and like different hair, but the same.
Right.
And it's like all again, like how do I look like I haven't taken a shower in 3 weeks, but then also be on the red carpet?
Yeah.
And I really, really am not liking it. This is now the 3rd award show that we've seen her in this same look, basically.
Yeah.
I loved the dress, but there was something about the scheme they were doing on her face that I wasn't, I don't know. It wasn't.
And she's doing the no eyebrows, but like Lady Gaga is doing the no eyebrows right now because she's like about to put music out. So she needs Miley needs to like get her eyebrows back. You know what I mean?
What do we love?
Who is she? Her sister?
Oh God, don't even. Oof.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
How about, here we are, the scandal's so far behind us, but SpongeBob and Ariana still don't walk the red carpet together.
No.
And they're seated in the same row, but different sections.
Why?
They sat SpongeBob with the hosts of Las Culturistas, and they sat Ariana next to Lena Waithe and Cynthia Erivo.
But I think she had her mom with her.
On her other side, was that her mother?
I think it was Joan Grande, as I name checked in our group chat. But like, do you know what I mean? I think it was her mom with her, and like he's there because Wicked is like he's not there as her date. He's there because the movie he is in is in Best Picture.
The two can be the same.
Sure, but I think it's smart that they're not together.
When are they gonna?
That's like a meme factory of like them holding hands.
Okay.
I think it's smart. I'm not going to lie to you. I think it's really smart for them to just be like privately together.
Because they'll be broken up by the end of the year?
Sure. And just like all the heat that's already on her. It's like, we're not like freaking out about it anymore. And we kind of should be. And I'm like obsessed with her. And I'm saying this and like it diffuses everything.
By the way, if you want to see, if those of you who fetishize gay men crying, and by crying, I mean wailing, go to Ariana Grande's brother's, Frankie Grande's Instagram page to watch his live reactions to her singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
Because he wasn't there.
Like he's at an Italian funeral. It's hilarious.
Can you imagine if
that
he
was Chewbacca? That sounded like Chewbacca.
He sounded like it. His house is full of queens, and they're watching it and doing what we all did basically, and applauding and going crazy. But he keeps turning the camera back on himself. And
Mamma mia!
It was crazy.
I can't.
I'm also so happy that second movie has been filmed already because for many reasons, just like the exhaustion factor.
We can't do more than 2 years of it.
Yeah, exactly.
It helped. I think it's going to benefit the success of the film as well.
And I'm not going to lie to you. Like, I think a lot of them not winning any acting awards, them like only winning.
They will next year, baby.
I think they will next year, but it's like everyone is sick of them. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, and the marketing of it, like, really did help the film make so much money and become like the biggest film of the year, no matter what you say. And like, probably the biggest film of the next 5 years, you know? But like, it didn't help them with like everyone is sick of it now. You know what I mean? It's like, it didn't help them critically.
Yeah. Now they're done. Now they should be tucked away, go to bed, and then reemerge in October.
Like 2 months later. Yeah. Like 2 months before they can pop out and be like ready to go. Yeah.
Real quick before we talk about what I think was the biggest shock of the night, I did enjoy the way that the awards were distributed. Not everyone won something, but it was spread out a lot. Like Anora won 5, The Brutalist won 3, Wicked 2, Amelia Perez 2, Dune 2, and then 1 each for Substance, Conclave, Real Pain, and I'm Still Here, and Flow. I'm not counting the documentaries.
What did I'm Still Here? Oh, right.
It won for international feature over Amelia Perez.
That's right. Sorry.
All of our movies that were like, that we were like talking about kind of as the best picture noms, like most of them won something.
Yeah. I truly thought that The Substance was going to have a second award and did draw breath when Mikey Madison won for Anora.
I'm happy. I thought either one of them. Thrilled. I'm so sad for Demi because it would have been it's a career award as well as acting.
Yeah.
But
it's not like the person who won. It's not like, Demi was not robbed of anything.
No,
Mikey Madison gives a career-defining performance.
Every person that said that Demi was snubbed has not seen Anora. I've yet to people DMing me this and that. Oh my God, blah, blah, this. And then I'm like, did you see Anora? And they always say, well, no, but. And I'm like, watch the movie and then we'll have a conversation.
I mean, it is just I'm using the word irony wrong. Sorry.
Sure.
It's okay. We're not even a fact-based podcast.
So you know,
Alanis Morissette. So
Mikey Madison winning over to me is The Substance.
Yeah, sure. It is the substance. It is
blah,
the
blah,
substance.
blah. Yeah. But I thought Mikey's speech was elegant and just true to form. She read off a paper. Great. I didn't mind that at all.
I would prefer that to some of the other things that we saw.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Phones being grabbed. And I think that
It was
she
short
just-
and heartfelt.
short and elegant and heartfelt. And thank you and thank you and thank you.
thanked the sex worker
Workers,
community,
as Sean
Mhm.
Baker did several
Yes.
times.
which was correct. And
Yeah.
Amelia Perez winners should take a fucking page
Exactly.
from
Take a fucking page from.
fucking
No,
French idiots.
They missed
Yeah.
the boat with that.
So next year, casting.
They don't care. Rebecca, you're
Yeah.
so right about the performance.
No, they don't care. It's performative. It's a
Yeah.
It's a like they don't think it's performative, but it is. You know what I mean? They think they're doing good, but it's a performance. Next year, casting is going to be awarded, and if that would have been this year, I read Sean Baker might have won a 6th award because he casted the movie, edited the movie, directed the movie, wrote the movie, and produced the movie.
Yep.
So he would have won another award for casting if it would
His
have
5th, yeah. So he
Yeah.
won 4, and that's a record. No one's ever won 4 in
Yeah,
one night.
Steven, he has more Academy Awards than Steven Spielberg.
In one night?
Yeah. I think in general, but
What was
he-
it? It was
because
like producing, directing, writing, and editing. That's what
Yeah.
he won. Yeah.
because he
that's
does
insane.
everything, and doesn't he look like the most normal?
Yep.
Yes.
Like he should be wearing khakis and like doing
And
your
like
taxes.
a guy that like was like, I saw a guy walking his kid to school this morning and was like, that was that Sean Baker? Like I was like, is that
Yeah.
him? Like,
Mhm.
like just a random man. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what? You feel it. I felt that Honora was so good and like absolutely deserving of the Best Picture award. And like you feel that he's so involved in it because the movie is so cohesive in the way
Yes.
that it's like shot and explained and the dialogue and like it just felt so well done. When they said they made it for $6 million, I was very shocked
Yes.
Yeah.
because it's gorgeously shot and it's not like
And there's a lot of travel. Like
There's a lot of
you're
travel.
going back and forth,
There's-
plane tickets between Vegas and Brighton Beach.
there's a lot of shit that goes on.
Yep.
Yes, they like it was not cheap. Like it didn't feel like a cheap movie at all. And I don't mean that as like a real pain felt like a cheap movie that they made for $6 million.
And they probably did.
And I loved it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
All
like that, it didn't seem,
I want to segue us into what I think will be our last topic by talking about a missed opportunity that I haven't discussed with either one of you. On the red carpet before the show began, Adrian Brody and Halle Berry ran into each other
Oh, I
and
saw
kissed
this.
each other passionately on the red carpet. How was this allowed? And how was she not waiting backstage in the event that he won, that she would go out there? He's already won an Oscar. It would have taken nothing away from that moment for him.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Not according to
it's like,
him. Yes, not according to him, but okay.
I just can't. I
would
don't
have been
believe no
incredible.
one prepped them. Was like, why we waited 20 years to see the sequel to that, and it happened on the red carpet. And maybe 3 out of every 10 people who are listening to this right now saw it because it didn't happen like in a way that would attracted the attention of everybody, and it barely even went viral. And it's a big moment. It's part of Oscar history.
And you'd think she would be like, if you win, I'm going to come out and get, you know what I mean? Like they could have just texted. They could have just texted each other, and then like she could have ran up and done it. Like
She
they
should
didn't
have
need
just
to tell
walked
anyone.
up. Yeah, like she should have just stood up in the audience and kissed him there after he won. And instead, what we were rewarded to was a man hurling gum at his girlfriend and then doing the thing that makes non-entertainment loving people never want to watch a show like this. Like, ever.
And listen, by breaking a world record, by the way.
He truly broke the record for longest Academy Award speech. That's
By
not a record you want.
No.
I will be doing Greer Garson's Academy Award speech verbatim on Patreon episode later.
Yes,
And
you
that
will, yeah.
speech, that was the winner before Sunday.
1943.
And that was what, 5 minutes, 30 seconds?
Something like that. Yeah.
Which probably wasn't even televised.
And
You
she
know what I
just
mean?
was a British slow talker, I'm sure.
Yeah.
When they started playing and he deadly seriously looked at the camera and said, "Stop playing the music. I've been here before. I know what this isn't my first time at the rodeo." I was like, that's not coming off the way that you think it is. What it's supposed to be is, I'm never going to be here again. This is my first time. Please stop playing me off. That's the joke. The joke's not for someone who,
This could be my last time.
That's the joke.
I just want to say anti-Semitism is never the answer. Whatever you want to say. Yeah.
You know what Adrian Brody should have done? He should have said protect trans children. Then I would have been like, I'll
Yes.
see you for another 4 minutes, sir.
Mhm.
Fine, done.
But
Harvey Weinstein is guilty.
but it
Goodbye.
also- yeah, truly.
Yeah.
But then the other thing is like,
Popsy says Harvey Weinstein's guilty.
Then when I reposted that thing that you said that was like the kids call him Popsy.
Yeah.
Every single person that follows me was like, I want to murder both of them.
I'm done with him.
No, he's really like
He and Jeremy Strong should go on
in
the
a boat
stage
together,
Yes.
like in Life of Pi, and just be shipped off
Yes.
to nowhere.
Yeah.
Like it was a career-ending speech, and then he just kept talking and it was just.
I don't know. What did he say?
I
though?
have no idea.
Okay.
I don't know if it's, I mean, I love the phrase career ending because it's so final and maybe it will be. I don't know that it's career ending other than like, this will be attached to him forever.
Forever.
Like
He's just
everyone
on
at
this-
his bachelor party will mention it in their toast. When he comes out next year, we're going to have to hear, but someone's going to tell it. It's going to go, it's just going to go forever.
Somebody, yeah, exactly.
What it ruined is his chance of ever winning again because nobody want to sit through that.
No.
And it, like just public scope, it was just like everyone was like, what is this? And again, it's the end of it's the second to last award. We're like, we want to go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Can we not do this?
Well, maybe Popsy gave his kids permission to stay up late, so he doesn't care about us.
And he was like, and then after like the second time that they tried to play him off, he then was like, oh, and like we should all be nice to each other. And I was like, oh, then you're going to throw that in there because you want to keep talking. Apparently the director screamed, wrap it up.
No way, really?
Because someone yelled something, and I think that I could be completely wrong.
Okay.
But I think like the director was like, wrap it up to him.
I think it was the Dune sandworm who said that.
I wish, if only.
Yeah.
But the Dune sandworm have come out and like.
That's what they should have done. But you know what? He's Jeremy Strong serious in a way that he wasn't when the Halle Berry kiss happened years ago.
When he assaulted her.
No, he kissed Halle
assaulted her
Berry
on the world stage.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. That if the Dune sandworm came out, he would be like morally fucking offended. When it's Hollywood, baby. RDJ. Like
you went up to get an award and then
riff and have
sexually
fun.
assaulted someone on camera and then was like, LOL, he.
If the Dune sandword came out, like you play with it, you josh, you joke.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You
What?
seeing this?
No.
It was just announced that the Dune sandworm was played by Judi Dench. They're just revealing it right now.
Dominic, you really got me.
Honeys, the Dune sandworm
Oh,
is my
God.
client.
We have to go. We could literally prattle on for another hour.
Literally.
Rebecca Bregman, award correspondent, trusted confidant.
Award season's over, honey.
Best gift giver, at least of the year so far. My favorite book so far this year was written in 1985, and it's called Sensational Scarfs.
I love you guys. I thought I'd have announcements for some of my new shows, but I don't know when they're airing yet. So if you just want to go on Max and watch the previous seasons of Lethally Blonde and the Playboy Murders to gear up for the new season, Sue Mangers would be appreciative. Her clients deal with those shows, and I will hopefully see you next award season.
Where can we find you on the internet that you're speaking
You
of?
can find me at SueMangers.com. You can listen to my
You are
podcast.
ridiculous.
You can listen
This
to
is
my
all lies.
You can listen to my podcast with my
I'm gonna register
stepdad
SueMangers.com.
called Fixing Famous People. You can
Yes,
listen to
you
my
are, yeah.
podcast with my dad called Full Duplex Radio. It is illegal, and you can Google it and you can find it, and there's instructions how you can listen to it.
Dominic, where can people find you?
My website's domentary.com, and on socials, I'm at Dominic Pupa or at Domentary. I'm also trying to buy the website Sue Mangers, but I'm not sure who owns it. So, listeners, you can you could hold this over our head because we want it. Christopher, where can our listeners find you on the World Wide Web?
They can find me at the Krista Rosa, and you can find the podcast at Fixing Famous People, and you can find the Patreon at patreon.com/Fixing Famous People. I wish you both well, and as always, let's say it together like we always do.
Slowly.
Where's Shelley?
What are we going to do when they find Shelley? What are we going to say? Where are my keys? Like, what will we say at the end of this broadcast?
They're never going to find
Trotting
her.
on over to this podcast.
We're never going to find her, Dominic.
Well, I'll tell you what. She played the Dune Sandworm on Sunday night.
We have to go. Goodbye. Love you all.